In 1 Kings chapter 6, the long-awaited moment finally arrives. After generations of anticipation, King Solomon begins the construction of the temple for the Lord in Jerusalem. It was the 4th year of Solomon's reign in the month of Ziv. This moment came 480 years after the Israelites left Egypt, connecting the temple directly to the story of the Exodus and God's covenant with his people. Solomon chose Mount Moriah in Jerusalem as the site, the same city his father David had established as the spiritual and political center of Israel. The structure was designed with great care. It measured 60 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high, forming a tall and majestic building that would stand as the dwelling place of God among his people. At the front stood a portico, an entrance hall that extended across the width of the building. Windows with narrow frames were placed along the walls to allow light inside. Around the outside walls, Solomon built side chambers arranged in 3 levels. These rooms served as storage and for temple service. Each level was designed so beams rested on ledges without cutting into the sacred structure. One remarkable detail was the quietness of the building process. Stones were cut and prepared at the quarry, far away from the site. Because of this, no hammer, chisel, or iron tool was heard in the temple while it was being built. The construction site remained peaceful and reverent, reflecting the sacred nature of the project. The interior was covered with cedar wood from Lebanon, the same timber Solomon arranged to receive from King Hiram of Tyre. Cedar boards lined the walls from floor to ceiling, and the floor itself was made of cypress wood. The cedar walls were carved with beautiful designs of gourds, flowers, and open blossoms, creating a richly decorated interior. At the far end, Solomon constructed the inner sanctuary, also called the Most Holy Place. This was the most sacred area, where the Ark of the Covenant would eventually rest. The inner sanctuary formed a perfect cube, 20 cubits long, wide, and high, symbolizing completeness and divine perfection. Solomon overlaid the interior of the sanctuary with pure gold, covering the walls and even the altar with gold. Inside this sacred room, 2 enormous cherubim made of olive wood were placed. Each cherub stood 10 cubits high, with wings stretching outward. One wing of each cherub touched the wall, while the other wings met in the center of the room. These majestic figures symbolized the heavenly presence surrounding the throne of God. Much of the temple's interior was overlaid with gold. Chains of gold marked the entrance to the most holy place. Elaborate carvings decorated the walls throughout the temple. Images of cherubim, palm trees, and flowers covered the panels, all of them layered with gold, creating a space that shimmered with beauty and reverence. The temple also included an inner courtyard, enclosed by rows of carefully cut stones and cedar beams. This courtyard would serve as a sacred space for priests and temple service. As construction continued, the word of the Lord came to Solomon with an important reminder. God told him that the temple itself, though magnificent, was not the ultimate condition for his presence. The Lord said that if Solomon walked in his statutes, obeyed his laws, and kept his commands, then God would fulfill his promise to David. He would dwell among the people of Israel and would not abandon them. This message made it clear that obedience mattered more than architecture. The temple was a symbol of God's presence, but the true relationship between God and Israel depended on faithfulness to his covenant. The construction of the temple took 7 years to complete. Solomon began the work in the 4th year of his reign and finished it in the 11th year, in the month of Bul, the 8th month. After years of careful labor, detailed craftsmanship, and vast resources, the house built for the name of the Lord finally stood completed in Jerusalem. What had been promised in David's time had now become reality under Solomon's leadership. The temple rose as a symbol of God dwelling among his people, built with skill, beauty, and devotion. Next comes 1 Kings chapter 7, where Solomon continues his building projects, including his own royal palace and the crafting of the temple's magnificent furnishings.